Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level, and to get with alkalinity, then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically, set attention to your mind, and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to Great Days. So today I wanted to talk about perfectionism, perfection within the universe, and the divine design of things, okay, or of everything. So let's get into this. Um, so something that you hear a lot, right, throughout your life is that there is imperfections, right? Um, and there is imperfections, right? But imperfections are only something that have been conceptualized into the world, right? And the world is of conceptualization. So once you are able to dissolve that away, or once you're able to secede or reseed a little bit into dimensions beyond the world, things like imperfection cease to be, because the universe, when you look at or observe nature, it is it is flourishing off of imperfections, right? So when you look out in the animal world, there's no imperfections. Nature uses everything, everything that nature, everything that you would see as an imperfection because of your conceptions and your conditions is just something to be used by nature, you know? It's not ever imperfect, you know. Everything is perfect because um, everything is formulated or generated from a design of divinity, right? By this I mean the entire universe is mathematical, right? And mathematics is the language of the universe. This is why mathematics is something that we're using. This is why mathematics has been used all throughout human existence, right? So mathematics isn't just something that we're learning to learn. Mathematics is literally the language of the universe because everything is mathematical. This is why we learn mathematics, and we've been learning mathematics since we've been existing, right? So the entire universe is mathematical, and perfection is found within mathematics, right? And there's a divine design. The divine design is the underlying designing of the universe, that that the universe created itself within, right? So the divine design can be observed out in nature, and you're gonna find it everywhere, right? Everything fractalizes itself from the design of the divinity, and since it is fractalizing itself of the divine design, then you yourself are divinity, and this is why we are gods and goddesses. We are not third dimensional beings, okay? We are multi-dimensional beings, and our consciousness has just been fixated onto a certain dimension, or maybe a few dimensions, but there is infinite dimensions, because this is the nature of dimension, to be of infinity, right? So let me see. You are you are infinite in dimension as well, right? And because everything is of divine design and it can be observed and it is already been recorded, then this is pretty much meaning that you're also of divinity, and within divinity is perfection. So perfection and imperfections are one and the same. They're supposed to come together like regularity and irregularities. There can't be irregularities if there isn't regularity. If there isn't regulation, there isn't irregulation. So it's the same thing with perfection and imperfections, but they are one of the same because they mutually arise together. Like heads and tails, you can't have a coin if there isn't a tails to it, or you can't have a coin that doesn't have another side to it. So it's a conceptualization that is arising in mutual dualism, like perfection and imperfections. If there was no such thing as perfection and it was never conceptualized, then there would never have been imperfections, right? So imperfections don't actually exist. And at that, perfection doesn't actually exist either. But if you want to say that everything is for now we can use the word perfect. If everything is perfect, then since everything is perfect, then we can come to the understanding that that things are divine, right? So I kind of fell off with it, but let me see. The conception of perfect or perfection is only that of conceptualization. So you can't actually emphasize perfection in the way in the way that if you weren't of the world it wouldn't really matter, because you would kind of dissolve away into the natural flow of things anyway, and things would just be hyper harmonious or harmony are harmonious. So you would never actually see that things are imperfect, because you would see that nature is also going to use the imperfection, right? So the perfect is all there it really is. Imperfection is imperfection, right? So you really have to break down the words, and within the words, they show the meaning of themselves, you know. So there is only perfection, and this is found within the design, the mathematical design, the divine design. If you go deeper into the design, you are going to see just how things are really working, and the perfection lies within how it is functioning, you know. um, or you can just observe nature, because the divine design expresses itself out in nature, because it is nature. All nature is designed by it, by the higher divine mathematics, right? These are the mathematics that have been used all throughout the world and all throughout the universe. Okay, so you don't even have to understand them, because you are expressing them, because they are a part of your design, because you are nature and you are never anything else. So since you are expressing out the divine design, you are of a divine designing, because it's a processing. And within the processing, if you observe it, you can finally see that it's literally it's of a perfection. So you can flow within the perfection. Imperfections are just there to are just the arising tensions, you know, that have been conceptualized and defined further. But these are just conceptions, and conception is very minute, because conception is of a minute dimension of mind, and there's infinite mental dimensions. So you then can recede into deeper dimensions, and conception itself can can slowly dissolve away, and then you can see that things are just perfect, or they're not even perfect, but they're not imperfect either. They're just everything is just happening, you know. So you really need to observe more. This is the key to it. But once you're able to do that, once you're able to reach that certain level of realization of divine design or perfection experientially, which makes the entire difference, then you can see that that things are just completely divine, and you are that divinity, you know. And there is no death either. And this is one of the things that is brought up within the divine design as well, you know, because death is just a stage of transformation, because it's energy, and energy doesn't die. It's never created nor destroyed. It's only transformed. So you are energy, therefore you're only going through transformative states eternally. Um, and that kind of exposes the perfection of it, you know. um, but with perfection comes imperfections, right? But both of these are just conceptions that are mutually erosion. So you must see through experience that with enough observation and awareness, consciousness, you can free yourself from the conceptual entanglements of imperfections and things like this. You know, even perfections, more for eternal happening, right? An eternal present moment, which is going to free you, liberate you from entanglements of the past and the future, and delusions, things like this. You know, all the mental ailments that are chronic are coming from the entanglement of illusions, which are mostly from things like the past and the future projections. You know, not that you can't use the past and the future projections for encompassment, but you want to stay here in the now, right? Because whatever else that you're entangling yourself with is not here in the now. So there's nothing that you can actually do to influence that. Um, but these are just like causal and affected chains, right? That aren't actually the causative and the effect, the cause and effects. These these are just entanglement, right? And entanglement is action. It's karma. It's karma. So you can dissolve these away, and you can liberate yourself for the eternal, right? The here and the now. The past isn't here, and the future isn't here, and it never will be. You know, because it's always here to now. And if it isn't clicked, if it isn't turned on for you, if you can't see that, then that calls for more observation. You need to observe here and the now, right? Because it's like having a dead relative. Once again, I've used this example. Having a dead relative, they are no longer with us. They aren't here anymore. And this is a perfect example. Having a dead relative, like let's say somebody just died, right? Uh, they're no longer with us. So you can entangle yourself with them, you can fixate yourself on them, and we call that grief. You know, and grief is usually something that is going to suffocate you. Grief is something that is going to keep you in turmoil inwardly, you know. So It's the same thing with the past. What is past, you know, it's passed on. It's no longer here. You can't hold on to the past because it's no longer with us, you know. So it's a type of grief if you're holding on to the past, or if you're caught in memories, you know. Not that you don't use memory, you need it because it's part of the way we are developing on the evolutionary path, but it can be used against us at the same time, right? Which I'm sure has been the case, right? So it can create turmoil within yourself if you hold on to what has passed on. It can create grief, or it can create various different turmoils within yourself. Which, if you entangle yourself with, you hold on to them, it creates all different types of confusion within yourself inwardly, and that leads to mental ailments and chronic disorders. You know. And all that can be avoided. You don't actually need anything to heal things like this. You don't need anything other than the experiential realization that all is here in the now. This is the divine liberation, right? Or meditation, being here now. And it's the same thing with the future. You don't want to get caught up in the past because it doesn't exist. You don't want to get caught up in the future because it doesn't exist either. They're both just projections from the here and the now, right? And you can, once again, you can create turmoil if you imbalance it. But if you stay balanced within your center, it can actually lead to exponential acceleration of development, which is what is needed for everybody, right? So perfection comes, or the realization of perfection is experientially observed or brought, or is experienced. If I just say this, if it is experienced, then it's going to be from a here and the now, right? If you really want to see the synchronicity or the divine harmony in place, or the perfection of nature beyond all separation, that experience is going to happen here and now, right? And it can happen right now if you allow it, if you just shift your awareness, which is observing more deeply. And that's all that is needed. That's meditation. That's the art of dying. Okay, that is expansion of awareness into multiple dimension, which is death. Because when you die, you are shedding the body, and you're transforming, and you're expanding into multiple different dimensions. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the current fixated dimensional conceptualization, right? Which is death. So perfection is the flow of existence. You get in tune with the flow, observe nature, and you experience the perfection of it. And imperfections will cease to be, right? The more that you ask nature to show you um, what imperfections actually are, the more that nature is going to show you, right? But nature may not tell you, because the universe or God or nature doesn't use words to communicate all the time, because this is going to complicate things. It's going to use an experience. It's going to use spontaneity, right? It's going to use spontaneous experience, maybe chains of events, something like this. It's going to use to show you whatever it is that it wants you to know, right? So the realization can trigger within you that things are imperfection, or things are perfection, right? So This will be it for today's video. I do thank everybody for watching. Once again, peace out. One love and have a great evening.